Okay, it's David Overton here from Adventure Habits, together with Splash Maps, and today with another great adventurer to share their adventure habits with you, you lucky listeners. Today I've got Siobhan Daniels with us. She is the retirement rebel. Siobhan, say hi to everyone and just tell us why are you the retirement rebel?
Hi, thanks so much for asking me to come and talk to you today. I'm the retirement rebel. I'm the self-proclaimed retirement rebel, if I'm honest, but I've been the retirement rebel now for well over 6.5 years. Basically, I was very broken in my mid-50s. I had a brother and sister who died of cancer at 53. I'd had precancerous cells and had to have a hysterectomy. I was feeling particularly marginalized and bullied and voiceless in the workplace, as many older women seem to feel, as I've found out on this journey. And so I just wanted to go off and shout from the rooftops that I felt that society didn't treat older women properly. And I wanted to be a pro-age campaigner. And then one of the national newspapers wrote an article about me very early on and called me retirement rebel. And I thought, I'm having that. I like that. So that's why I call myself the retirement rebel.
Oh, fantastic. I love the story behind that. And it's, this is so poignant, not least of all for people like me, because I'm pretty much that age. In fact, a little bit older now. No one wants to feel marginalized. And it's one of those things you can kind of get to this stage and the devices that you have around you suddenly realize that was definitely designed by a 30-year-old. That's not made for me. And that sort of thing.
But I also think at this age, a lot of us, we define ourselves throughout our lives by our jobs and our family, and mainly by our jobs. I worked for the BBC for over 30 years. And when you leave that, when you move away from that and the prospect of retiring, you can often lose yourself and lose your confidence. And I'm sort of showing that actually when you retire, you can refire. You can actually have your adventures and have the best years of your life.
Which you are doing in spades, judging by your Instagram and all the other excitement around you. I mean, it seems like there's not a week without a journalist somewhere coming up with a news story for you. And of course, now you've made it onto Adventure Habits. So,
the pinnacle of my career, I know.
I just want to touch on that with the BBC. I guess. My perception, and I did spend some time working in the civil service as well. I worked at Ordnance Survey, which is, and I worked on projects with the BBC, and the thing you get, the feeling you get from going into the building, etc., is utterly, completely, totally ethical and very, very, very good to their employees. But I guess all large businesses are prone to the same prejudices and problems.
Yeah, I do think there is a problem still with the BBC with the representation of older women on the news and in general programmes. And I do know that they are trying to make steps towards that, but I still don't think they're doing enough quick enough. And I'm always exasperated when there's panel shows where there's always 3 men and 1 woman or no women. And particularly older women. And I also think, presenting programs on radio on Saturday mornings now, every single program across Classic FM and all sorts of different radio outputs are men. There's no women on at all. And that incenses me. I'm always shouting at the radio. So it's got a long way to go, but it is trying to address the problem. But when I was there, it was not just where I was working. It was the culmination of everything that was happening in my life, and I wasn't dealing with it well. So I wouldn't like to blame that organisation for how I felt, but that did contribute towards it as well.
Yeah, it's a societal malady, really. Well, I'm so pleased that you're there, supporting people, and so would you say the majority of your followers are are looking to you for inspiration in how to. I was going to say grow old disgracefully, but that's not really your tagline at all, is it?
No,
It's
no.
kind of
With
to grow older
confidence.
adventurously.
Yeah, and be happy.
Yeah.
What I did when I turned the ignition in the key when I got my motorhome, because I got rid of my home and all my possessions when I retired at 60 and bought my motorhome and hit the road, and I've been in it ever since. And I remember thinking, I just want to find my happy place. That was the main thing. So what I'm trying to do with my followers, I've got over 55,000 followers now across my social media platforms of all ages, which is what I love. I'm trying to take them on this journey and show them that you can age positively, you can be happy, you can choose to be a little bit more selfish and do what you want to do and really look at life and think, we've only one shot at this living lark. So I sort of try and encourage them to be a little bit selfish, decide what it is they want to do, and go and pursue that. I also want to help younger women not to fear getting old. I want them to have, people who motivate them. I want them to have women that they can look up to who are having these adventures, who are living positively. And I'm blown away by the number of women now in their mid-50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond who are coming out and shouting, with their warrior voices that we want to be heard, we want to live life, and we want to see representation in fashion and adventure of ourselves, the women in the 60s, 70s, 80s, so that the younger women don't fear getting old.
That's brilliant, actually, isn't it? Because unsurprisingly, we first met at the fantastic Armchair Adventure Festival,
Yeah.
and there we had some snatched conversations in between you taking a cold water dip and just living the life that you've become famous for, I suppose. And there at that festival it was all laid on for us. It's just such a great occasion to go to.
I gave
And
my
so
talk there
what
at that festival, and it was incredible the response that I got from a lot of the younger people, and that really fills my soul, because when my tent was packed and there were people standing outside, and I was just really blown away that it wasn't just people of my age, but it was younger people who wanted to hear what message I was putting out there, and that's what I love about that festival. I'm going again this year.
Yeah.
It's just so inclusive of all ages and people who do micro adventures or mega adventures. It's fabulous.
No, I think it's brilliant. I mean, for our part, we sponsored John Blashford Snell, who's now 80. He's 88 this year, and he'll be coming again. And his talk always packs out the crowd, as it packs out the tent as well. People are kind of on the outside, so maybe there's something going on there at that festival, which is just keyed into your market. It's people looking up to people who've lived a bit of life and want to share it. And in actual fact, the message that's coming back is actually we're having the best life. And it's interesting that just last week, yours is the second in our series of adventure travel type interviews, because last week you and I met at the Adventure Travel Show again.
Yep.
And next week or week after next, when this goes live, in fact, we're going to be at the Destination Show. So we've got all of that fun coming up, and it's just a great opportunity to meet with people like yourself and kind of sit our brand in there and let people know that you could venture more frequently regardless.
Well, that's it. There's an awful lot of older women who are doing solo travel. The market now, it's out there, and people need to listen. We're out there in our 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond. We've got the money to spend, we've got the time to spend, and we've got the inclination to face fears and push the boundaries and have challenges and have the adventures. So I think more and more we're going to see older people attending these festivals. I think for a very long time, I didn't sort of feel like I belonged there. And now I'm actually finding my tribe. The other weekend when we met up, I was thrilled that everywhere I turned, there were people I knew who I'd had adventures with or been swimming with or kayaking with or walking with. And I just love it. It fills my soul, this kind of life.
It is terrific, and the Adventure Travel Show was a real success, I think, from the organisers' perspective, from the different people that we met at our stand. I don't think we were in the busiest corner of the whole thing, but there was a great attendance, and we attracted a lot of people hiking around the UK, but also much further afield, and had some great conversations, with people doing polar routes, as well as people that are looking at the stars. We do star maps and that sort of stuff as well now. A great diversity. So we're really looking forward to the destination show. And if anyone picks up on this on the Sunday, just join our mailing list and you'll be able to get a free ticket to go to the destination show. Will you be there as well, by any chance?
I will definitely be there, yes, because I'm heading off actually to Canada in a few weeks' time, because I'm going to be driving from Vancouver to Alaska in a motorhome on my own, a bit of solo adventure. So I'm going there to see if I can make
in my head, it's a road movie. That's going to be fantastic. I'm
actually writing. I'm actually writing a book about it, and I'm making a film about it to be an inspiration for other people to actually wake up one morning, have that crazy idea, and not self-limit, but think, do you know what? I'm going to do that. Because that's exactly what I did. I was talking to my cousin who lives in Canada, and I jokingly said, oh, I'll come over and see you, and maybe I could drive to Alaska. Went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, and then started thinking, hey, maybe I could do that. And so that's how it started. Now I've got a book deal, I'm making a film, and I'm heading off in March, and I'll pick up the motorhome on the 1st of April. So I'm going to the show to maybe make some connections of other people that I might be able to meet along the way from travel companies in Canada and Alaska.
But absolutely terrific. And so are you planning to do that through the springtime? Is it coming up soon, or is it
no, I've made it a little bit more difficult for myself. I'm doing it just at the end of winter, just as the spring starts. So they say the optimum time to go is May. I'm going April, so I will still have some challenging conditions. The wildlife will be just waking up, so that'll be quite interesting to see what I see. Everybody keeps saying to me, make sure you don't get eaten by a bear. That's not on the top of my agenda.
Yeah. It definitely, the bear spray is in order. Just watch Adventure Habits with Matt Smith when he did his paddle for the in the Yukon. So there was a lot of bear experience there for that one. And I just as a point around aging and adventuring. In fact, we had Ben Smith from Peak Planet on the last episode, which just dropped last weekend, and he takes people regularly up Kilimanjaro, and he says the older the guest, the better, because they are going to be moving at a pace that they understand they can do, whereas a younger person is going to hair up there, and then they're going to suffer from altitude sickness because they've gone between the different stages too quickly. But he didn't think that was just unique to Kilimanjaro. That tends to be in all sorts of stuff. So there's wonderful things you learn about yourself. Yes, we're all in kind of vehicles that might be slowing down a little bit now, but at least we understand that, and therefore we can make provision for it. And apparently, for people guiding, that makes us a much better prospect.
Funnily enough, I only posted something on my social media yesterday about doing things at your own pace, because I was walking along the Cleveland Way, along the cliffs near Saltdean. And I got myself in a pickle because I thought, I'm not really covering miles that quickly along the cliff top. And then I heard my friend's voice in my head, who did a long walk from Glasgow to Rome, actually, Jed. And I heard her say, just do it at your own pace, because you miss the beauty of things if you're just trudging on like this. So I think a lot of older people, they do it at their own pace, but they've got that steely determination to get to the end of whatever it is they're doing. That's what I've found. I feel tougher and I feel more resolute that I'm going to get to the end, but I'm going to do it in my own pace and enjoy it.
That's great. And that was actually her adventure habit when she was on here on episode 15. So yeah, really pleased. And yeah, again, from the Armchair Adventure Festival. Everyone go to the Armchair Adventure Festival.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it makes
brilliant.
sense. I think people are a bit tired of me saying that now, but
No, you can
it is
never get
fantastic.
tired of saying that. It's one of the top festivals for me each year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just makes it's not the biggest festival in the world, but that somehow adds to its unique glory. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. That one's definitely on the schedule for this year. So we'll plan to meet there. Shake on it.
Definitely. I'll drag you for a cold water swim.
Yeah, fat chance. Right. Okay, right. Siobhan, you know why you're here.
Hmm.
It's for your 5 adventure habits. And being someone you've basically been living in your motorhome since 2019 now. So there must be some great adventure habits that you built up along the way. And I'm just wondering what would be the first one on your list.
The first one on my list is actually to say yes to things more. To say yes with even if you've got that fear inside of you, say yes with intention. I often used to shy away from doing things that I really wanted to do. In my head, I'd be thinking, go on, do that. But I didn't do it. And I'd often walk away from situations and regret it. Now I just say yes more. And I actually go to a festival, another one that I love, Yestival. It's in Lincolnshire at the Big Sky Oasis. And that's all about encouraging people to have their adventures and supporting one another and say yes. And I have just grown in confidence through getting to know the people from the Yes Tribe and going out there. So that's my number one thing I would say to people. Say yes more, and don't be frightened to ask for help once you've said yes, but go out and have your adventure.
So that's the first step. Say yes to stuff. That's great advice. I remember going through a week like that once, and I ended up down this pothole. And
Oh,
whilst I quite enjoyed it, my family regretted it because I said yes to bringing the family along as well.
oh,
Yeah, that can be challenging. Freezing. I just remember the freezing cold water off Penny Ghent going straight down this cave and filling our Wellington boots. And
oh.
anyway, okay. So enough of my freezing coldness in the Yorkshire Dales. What's your second adventure habit?
My second adventure habit is to document what I'm doing, taking photographs or maybe picking a flower or something that I can press, or just documenting it so you've got a memory, because I'm doing so much now, and I know there will come a day. I don't know if it's inevitable, but I think there'll come a day when maybe I can't do all these adventures. But I want to be able to sit there and to look through the books and my memories and just relive those adventures again. And I also think my mum had lots of adventures, and she put them all into a book for all her children and her grandchildren. And when she was in her 80s, she made this book and gave us all one at Christmas. And I love reading what my mum got up to. I had no idea half the things she did. So I think document your adventures in some way. And I think with social media now, it's easy for us to do it. I'm always posting reels, again, to take women along with me on the journey who can't possibly do it at the moment themselves. They're working, they can't retire, they've got dependents, they don't have enough money. There's all sorts of things that restrain what they can do. So some of them may never be able to do the adventures, but they do message me and say they live vicariously through me, and they love the fact that I put on social media my good days and my bad days of having little micro adventures and big adventures.
We can't underestimate the level of inspiration you bring to people, and there are reasons why those tents fill up, and why they fill up around the outside as well, and that is that I think that is more predominantly with women than men. There is this kind of trapped feeling, and that is a societal malady that isn't resolved. It's difficult to see how it will be resolved. It's like a well ingrained, multiple thousand-year thing,
But
and it's not right.
But I want more men to come to my talks as well with their partners, to understand that they do have this trapped feeling. They do need to go off and just sometimes have their adventures with a bunch of women. You know, like guys do the guys' trips, the women's trips. It doesn't mean their relationship's under threat, or, you know, they're going to end up getting divorced or whatever. It means they just want to go off and create those memories and do things that they feel they've wanted to do for years, but they've held back, willingly held back, to be a wife and a mother and work or whatever. But now they've got this opportunity. They need to be able to go. And I think the guys need to understand that as well and know where they're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, here to that. What's the third adventure habit?
My third adventure habit is to chat to local people when you go places, and to shop locally. I think that is so important when we're travelling around, especially in the motorhome, because a lot of van lifers are coming under a lot of pressure. I think it's vital that you respect the community and you respect the environment wherever you go. And I have had some of my best adventures by talking to local people in the pub or in the shop or just along the street, you know, talking to people and saying, where should I go? Where shouldn't I go? What's happening? The first time I saw the Northern Lights in the Outer Hebrides was because I was buying some goods in a local shop, and the woman had got the app out with her friend, and she was saying, oh, you're going to be lucky tonight. You're going to get to see the Aurora Borealis. And I probably wouldn't have looked up to the skies. So talking to local people and shopping local and respecting the community is vital.
Yeah, yeah. I bet that gets you. I mean, because there are complications with living life out of a van, and a lot of that might be, you know, getting hold of regular fresh food and things like that. But I suppose if you shop locally, you're going to farm shops and things like that, you're probably getting as good as, if not better, diet than the rest of us.
Yeah, definitely. And you get good quality food. It might be slightly more expensive, but you buy less of it. And cook. I try and cook from scratch when I can. I always have some dried foods and bits that get me from A to B when I run out. But I do try and cook from scratch and eat healthily.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, great stuff. Great stuff. Okay, we're on to the fourth one already. I can't believe it. Right. So, what's your fourth adventure habit?
Enjoy solo travel. I do like meeting up with people, but solo travel is so empowering. I'm a monkey for just packing a rucksack. I'll go somewhere and I don't really know where I'm going, but I try more and more to tap into my intuitions, that little voice that says, oh, go there, or I'll see a hill and I think I want to go to the top of that hill and find out what's there. So I pack a rucksack, and I always make sure I've got a whistle and I've got waterproofs and snacks and water, so I'm provided for any conditions that I might come across. But I just head off like Dora the Explorer with my rucksack, and I'm just heading off up the hill. And I found some beautiful, beautiful locations by just following my gut and going off on my own.
Yeah. I mean, that really reminds me of the logo on your Instagram account and on your business card and everything. I've got to say, your branding is exceptional, and it just It's just all of what you've just said in a picture.
Thank you.
And
No, I'm really pleased with it. Stephen Miller, the guy that designed that for the front of my book, he'd never met me. And I just look at that every time with me sitting in the chair, looking out over the countryside with the van and a robin by my foot and a squirrel in the tree. And he's just got it all, the hills, the water. And it does, I look at it and think, that's me, that's my life. And I feel it. So that's what I love when people see my book in a bookshop. You know, I hope it draws them to it and think, that's the kind of life that I want.
That's fantastic, and of course we'll put a link to that book in the show notes here, and it's a must read for anyone who's anyone who's experienced what you have done in your professional career, and anyone who really wants to look positively on their later years.
Well, the book's called Retirement Rebel, but I've also got a podcast out called Retirement Rebel Life After 60, which has just won an award at the International Women's Podcast Awards, because it's resonating so much with people who want to hear from other women in their 60s, 70s, 80s who are just living their best lives. So I've enjoyed putting that together. And my book, I love the fact that people message me after they've read it and they say it's made me rethink how I think about retirement. It's made me repurpose my life. It's made me excited about retiring rather than being fearful about retiring. And I love that I'm helping women, because I know when I was broken, I wished I'd had somebody to help me.
Yeah. Well, I'm so pleased that you found this perfect way of mending yourself, and for sharing that with people as well. And there's going to be a lot of very grateful people out there. And thanks. Well, it's great to have an award-winning podcaster being podcasted by me. I'm going to ask you for marks out of 10 when I get to the end of this, but don't say it live here, because I just don't want people to know, right?
It's the subject matter. It's the women that I get to talk to that I'm really lucky. And saying that, women I get to talk to, that my fifth thing, the habit that I have when I'm traveling, is about getting together with women, getting together with groups of women. Whenever I go somewhere, I try and find out who the local walking group is, or the swimming group. So it's connecting with women is my fifth thing. I've met some wonderful women, and it also makes me realise the importance of women supporting women, because I've met groups of blue tits, the wild swimmers around the country, and when you see them all together and you hear them talking, you realise that they've bonded over things like maybe struggling with a menopause or breast cancer or children dying or positive things, marriages and births, but they support one another through life, through the thick and thin. So you see ageing at its rawest with these groups of women, and you see the laughter and the joy that they give one another when they're together as well. And I have to say, I love my solo life, I love my nomadic life, but that's one thing I miss, being part of a group like that, because it is great. And I met a group of women in Dorset who did Nordic walking, and I did long walks with them over a few days, and they all welcomed me in. And I love to walk with them and to hear their stories about how important it is for them to be out there in the fresh air, exercising, having adventures and connecting.
Oh, fantastic! And Corrine Evans from the Blue Tits is on our list to come in one of these future ones. She's someone that we know, and we've always tried to find the right time to get together, but it's failed us until now. I think probably on the run up to the festival season in the summer will probably be a good time to do that, just in case I get challenged to going in the water,
which you will do.
Okay. So, I know. Yeah, I know, Corrine. She'll probably throw me in. Okay, so we've got your 5 adventure habits. So just to recap, for those who've only got the attention span of 1 minute and have listened to the end of this or forward wound it till this point, I'm sure that happens once in a while. So it's about saying yes. So first off, say yes to more stuff. Second of all, document your adventures. So I personally like writing. I mean, you've written books and they're published and whatever. And but my mum, like a lot of other people, she keeps a journal, and it makes fascinating reading. Even if a lot of it's not about her life, it's about other people's. It's always great. But scribble it all down, take photographs, and reach out. Um, then it's chat to locals, and that's actually something that's cropped up. Whether you're doing big travels in foreign places, or whether it's close to home, local to your own community, or whether, like you, being about a bit more nomadic, and taking the challenge and going out to Alaska in at the end of their winter time. I think I think you'll find some great resources there and some very hardy locals. Um, and enjoy the solo travel. It's something, if you got to kind of, I guess with that one, you got to love your own company and get comfortable with that, and that you don't have to be constantly on, as it were. And it's great to take time out.
It took me a while to enjoy my own company. It took me a while to just be able to stop and be on my own and be in the moment. I felt I was lazy. I needed to be doing something. And eventually I realized, no, you don't. You can sit and listen to the birds and smell the air and enjoy that peace and just enjoy that solo moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of that stuff is so important. Um, and then finally, I mean, it's one that crops up a lot of times here. Specifically, you've said to women, it's with all the other adventurers, it's find your crowd, which you've talked about already in this. But get together with groups of other women, and I guess the more that you do the solo stuff. I mean, in my business, it's very solo. A lot of the stuff that I do, that I have to do, but at the same time, that's why I love shows, because that's a great way of connecting with people. That's the social element of it. It means that I, probably a bit like you, don't have to miss the other elements when you're working in the civil service that come along with it, or a big
Yeah,
business
yeah.
or whatever. You can actually choose your crowd. You're not thrown in to a crowd. Um, and I personally find that's a very satisfying thing. So I love the last one. So connect with crowds of women, and share the benefit of your wisdom. And I'm so pleased that you took the time to share the benefit of your wisdom with us today, Siobhan. So Siobhan Daniels, you are the retirement rebel.
Yay.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll put the links to to the books and anything that you decide to send across to us for us to make the links to. Everybody, you must read her stuff, and you must come to see her talk again at the Armchair Adventure Festival this year, or any other festival she's doing for that matter. Why not?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks very much. And goodbye, Siobhan.
Goodbye. It's been brilliant talking to you.